Hey guys, my name is Alisha and welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing a fun little reading vlog, and this is going to be a romance reading vlog. So I have a bunch of books that I'm really excited to read that are specifically romance books, and it's obviously almost Valentine's Day and you know, love is in the air. So what better time than now to read all of these romance books. So I will share with you what books I'm hoping to read, and we'll see if I actually read any of them or which ones I end up reading. But hopefully this vlog is a fun time where I read a lot of great books with maybe, hopefully, some new favorites. We'll see. Let's get into it. So I do have this little stack over here. These are the books that I'm hoping to read. And I also have maybe one or two others that we'll see. So first up, I have Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the third and final book in the Brown sisters kind of series. I have read both of the first two books. I really liked Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and I didn't like as much Get a Life, Chloe Brown, but I have heard good things about this book, and I'm hoping for the best. I really love Talia Hibbert's writing, and I think she does a really great job of having kind of strong characters and complex characters, and then also having really great chemistry and, you know, banter and a cute relationship. So I am looking forward to this. Basically, and in the past two books, what I've seen from Eve Brown is she is a bit of like a free spirit character, but the back of this says that the flightiest Brown sister crashes into the life of an uptight B&B owner and has him falling hard, literally. So that sounds fun. And yeah, like I said, you know, Talia Hibbert has really kind of charismatic, witty, funny writing, and all of her characters are always really funny, and like all of the Brown sisters are just so, their personalities are so fun and so expressive, and yeah, I think I'm gonna really love this book, so can't wait to read this one. Next up, I have a book that I have been meaning to read for so long, and I am definitely gonna read it in this vlog, but that is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. I have heard a lot of great things about this book, and just based on the plot of this book, I'm so excited to read it. What I do know about this book is that it basically is this woman going on a blind date, and I believe it's either like completely blind or her family sets her up with this guy or something like that. But she ends up going on this date and somehow ends up killing her date, and then she has to kind of deal with the aftermath of killing this guy. So she involves some of her aunties, and you know, they all have to help her get rid of this body and deal with the situation. I also know that I believe her ex is involved in her life somehow, and so she has, maybe this is a bit of a second chance romance. And another thing actually that I think is interesting, and I'll be really eager to find out what is actually the truth in this book, because obviously based on that synopsis, this book definitely feels a little bit like a mystery thriller, dare I say. This has some vibes obviously of like, you know, dealing with a murder and like covering it up and things like that, but I have heard that this is actually more of a romance book because it is pretty romance heavy. I was kind of comparing it to Finlay Donovan is Killing It, and I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but just based on like that book, it's definitely more of a funny murder, not murder, like a fun and funny mystery book, which didn't have any romance, or like it didn't have a big romance in it. So again, yeah, I've heard this has a lot more romance in it, and I've heard a lot of great things about it, and I'm really excited to read it. And then those are kind of the three that I definitely want to get to during this vlog, but I also have You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hochul reserved at the library. So if that comes in time, I would definitely like to read that. And there's a few other books that I have on my radar that maybe I might want to read, but those are basically books that I am for sure hoping to read in this vlog. So yeah, now let's get to the actual vlog portion of this video.
Penguin Random House Audio presents People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, read for you by Julia Whalen. I wrote the last one mostly for me. This one's for you. Prologue. 5 summers ago. On vacation, you can be anyone you want. Like a good book or an incredible outfit, being on vacation transports you into another version of yourself.
Hey guys, so I wanted to give you an update on kind of my reading and where I'm at. So I did start People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I had really low expectations going into this book. I've read Beach Read by the same author, and I didn't like that book at all. I thought it was really just boring, and I didn't really like the characters. I thought the main girl was really annoying, and yeah, so I didn't really have high expectations going into this book, but it has really surprised me. I really like this book. I think a lot of things were done really well in this book. I think the kind of the growth of the characters and the kind of friendship into the romance has been really good. I also think it has like really cute and funny moments, good banter, all of those things. And yeah, so I normally don't read like friends to lovers, like that trope. I don't really like it, but I think this book has done a really good job of making sure that we get a really good, authentic friendship, and then we see how these characters are moving into their romance. So it's not felt rushed or anything, and it's all felt really organic, so I like that. It is, though, I think, enforcing the fact that a guy and a girl cannot be just friends. I don't know about you, but like that's what I'm saying here. So overall, I about at like 70 or 80% in the book. So I'm at they've just gotten past where our main characters, Poppy and Alex, are like kind of got together, and I think that they're really cute, and I think that the way that they got together was really cute. And I also really like how we kind of have a current timeline of them going on this vacation together after 2 years. I think it's 2 years ago there was like something that happened that they haven't talked since, so we're in that timeline. But then we're also getting these kind of flashback timelines where we're seeing each kind of vacation they've gone on, because they go on a vacation every year together. So we get like this flashback of them going on those vacations together, and kind of seeing through that how their friendship has grown. And so I like the book and how it's written, and I like the characters, and I like the romance. So overall, this has been really good. And like I said, was not expecting this, and it might even be one of my favorite romances now. It's not like my favorite, but it's definitely up there now. So we'll see how it ends, but I'm definitely really enjoying it so far. So quick update, I did finish People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I really liked it. Like I said before, I had really low expectations with this book because I didn't like Beach Read, and I read that last year. But this book was a pleasant surprise. I really liked the characters. I really like the friends to lovers romance, and I don't read that. I don't think I really ever read that, so this book just did it really well. I really enjoyed the flashbacks we got, where we were able to kind of see how the main characters, Alex and Poppy, kind of like developed their friendship, and then how those feelings kind of evolved, and then how later on in the book we actually got a romance that felt organic and real and fleshed out and well developed, and all of those things. I also really liked Poppy, the main character. Compared to Beach Read, I don't remember the main character's name, but I really didn't like her. I thought she was really annoying. But Poppy had like a nice kind of funny vibe, and she just was like had a good personality that I really clicked with. And I also really liked Alex. Again, compared to Beach Read, I definitely didn't like the hero in that book. I thought he was really obnoxious and annoying, and was just kind of like grumpy and mean to be mean. So I didn't like him. But in this book, I definitely liked Alex, and I think, again, the relationship was so fun to read and so great, and I really liked their banter, and I liked a lot of the moments, and I also really liked the aspect of them going on vacations together, and just kind of getting to know each other through that. Although I will say, the title makes no sense, because this has nothing to do with them meeting people on their vacations. It's about them getting to know each other. So I don't know, but is what it is. Overall, I'm giving this book, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I did really like it, but it's not really gonna stand out to me. I'm not necessarily gonna like think about it or remember it or anything, but again, a really great book, and I had a really fun time reading it. Now, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to start, but I've decided to pick up Twisted Games by Anna Wong. And I don't really know a lot about this book. I think it's basically a bodyguard romance. Our main character is a princess, and that's all I really know. It's also a spicy book, so I'm excited to read that. And it's not traditionally published, and so I don't think I really read a lot of books that aren't traditionally published, especially romance books. So I definitely want to get more into this. And this is a book that has been recommended a lot and talked about a lot, and a lot of people love it, so I'm hoping for the best. This is the second book in a series, and I did, at the start, it kind of says that you don't necessarily need to read the first book, but if you do, it'll give you some context of what's happening. So I'm not reading the first book because this one just seemed a little more interesting for me, but hopefully I don't need to read the first book, and we'll see what happens. So I will let you know once I start this, maybe around 50%, how it's going, what I think about it. actually started a new book, and that was Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. So I just wanted to let you know what I've been thinking about it because I absolutely love this book. This is like a book that I've been planning or like wanting to read for a really long time, and I just haven't gotten around to it, even though I've heard a lot of good things about this book. Like most people who read this book don't really have anything bad to say. And so I didn't really know what to expect going into it, but I knew that it was pretty well liked. But let me tell you, I'm just having so much fun with this book. This might be one of the funniest books I've ever read. There have been so many moments where I have full on laughed out loud, which really doesn't happen to me when I'm reading. Like, yeah, books can be funny, but like actually, laughing out loud when you like read something going on or a joke or whatever, it just doesn't happen. But this book, I am having a great time. So I've read about less than 100 pages so far, so I'm not too far into it, but I have a general idea of what's going on. But basically what this is about is a young woman, and her family has like Indonesian and Singaporean Chinese roots. So there's a lot of like representation right off the bat, which I love. But basically when we start out, where our main character, her mother, ends up catfishing this guy online as the main character, and basically sets our main character up on a date by pretending to be her. And so our main character is kind of like forced into going on this date with this guy, ends up being a blind date, but her mother has really kind of hyped her up to this guy, and this guy feels like he really knows this girl and has a really good connection. And so our main character, whose name is Medi, she basically goes into this date knowing nothing about this guy, but the guy knows a lot about her because Medi's mother has been impersonating her basically. So she ends up going on this date, and things are not going great. She's not really having a great time, but she ends up drinking too much. So the guy offers to drive her back home in her car. So they end up going back home together. However, on the way back home, this guy's being a little too forward, and it starts like touching her knee and stuff. So she right away is like, yeah, nah, this is not my thing. So she tries to move his hand away, but then he gets very like aggressive, and ends up taken a detour and is trying to take her back to his place to get it on with her, but she doesn't want anything to do with that. So luckily she has a taser in her bag. She pulls it out and she uses it on him, and he ends up crashing the car, and things go downhill from there. So she ends up basically waking up from this car accident, and he is dead, and she doesn't really know what to do now. Basically she gets back home and is freaking out, and she goes to her mom and she tells her the situation, and her mom calls up all of her aunties, and they all come to the house to try to figure out what to do with this dead body. And it's basically like this series of unfortunate events because our main character obviously did not purposely kill this guy, and the best thing so far has been just her family and like those dynamics, because as soon as they found out that she's killed somebody, they are just so on board with helping her and making sure that they get rid of the body. And just there has been so many moments where her coming to terms with having killed somebody and her family coming to terms with it, and then her kind of realizing what her family is thinking of all of this is just so funny. I don't want to give anything away, but just in these first like less than 100 pages, it's just been so much fun reading this book. So I am super excited to see what the rest of the book holds. We also have this kind of like side plot because we're getting flashbacks of our main character in university, and when she was in university she had this relationship with this guy, but she never told her family about him because there's this bit of a superstitious curse that her family has where all of the men in her family have either like died or left. And so I think that plays into why she doesn't want to tell her family about this new boyfriend. But this was I don't really know how many years ago, maybe like four to 6 years ago, when she was dating this guy, and they ended because this guy got a job in across the country, and he wanted her to come with him, but she was like that as the girl of the house, and because all of the guys, all of her auntie's sons and things like that have moved away, she has to stay home and be there for her family and her mom. So she basically, instead of telling the guy that, like all of that situation, she ends up breaking up with him. And so now where we are in present day, we have this whole situation with him killing this guy. So basically that's the overall gist, but this, I've been saying it and I'm going to keep saying this book is so funny and so good, and I definitely am feeling 5 stars right away, but I will let you know once I finish the book, you know, if it holds up. But yeah, so far this is definitely a favorite for sure. So I just finished Dial A for Aunties, and I have to say this is like one of my favorite romance books ever. This was just so much fun. It was so cute. It was so sweet. It had so many great like moments and tropes, and then even outside of the romance there was so much going on that just made this book so much fun, and I cannot say enough good things about it. I absolutely loved it. 5 stars for sure. Definitely my favorite thing was the family, these aunties, and the dynamics between them. There were just so many hilarious moments that were all from like basically we have 4 aunties and one of them is our main character's mother, and just seeing their dynamics and like even their rivalries and jealousies, but then despite all of that how they're there for each other was just so nice and so cute. And I think like the fact that like they're immigrants and they, you know, don't necessarily know English super well, so there's a bit of like this communication problem that kind of adds to the comedy. I really like how in this book at the very beginning, Jessie Q. Sutanto, the author, has this whole little section where she talks about like that she's not trying to like stereotype these people. You know, she's obviously speaking from her own experiences, and she kind of talks about how this kind of broken English mixed with the Indonesian and Chinese language is how her family actually speaks, and it's not necessarily how every Asian family is or how every Indonesian and Chinese family is, but this is her family and kind of those experiences she's drawing from. So I really liked how she made it clear, you know, that she's not trying to make fun of them or stereotype them or anything, but I think that kind of added to the comedy. And again, like I just loved their dynamics. I loved how much they, you know, no matter what, they were there for each other. And then especially when our main character ends up killing this guy by accident, you know, no questions asked, all of her family was like, we got your back and we're gonna help you figure this out. And so I really loved that. And then I also really loved the romance. This is definitely a second chance romance, and although I mean the reason that the couple broke up is kind of miscommunication, it was like it wasn't a big, like it wasn't, I want to say it's not a big deal, but it wasn't like a thing that we focused on, because obviously everything that was happening in present day, and at the very beginning we were getting kind of like flashbacks of when the couple met and how they got together and why they broke up, but then for majority of the book we were just getting what was happening in present day and kind of how they are getting back together. And so the reason that they break up is understandable, but like kind of also like if you just talk to him you could have figured it out. But I'm not mad at it. I still really love everything that happened, and I love how they kind of accidentally end up meeting at this wedding that all of our characters are at, and you know, seeing each other again after a few years and still having that love be there. And I really love how it ended, and in between there were just so many great moments, and I don't know if I'm like selling it as well as I could be, but I just really love this book. And lastly, what I really loved is I think this would be such a great like romantic comedy movie. Like there's just so many moments that I can literally picture happening, and this would just be so good. So I really hope, you know, one day this definitely makes it to the big screen, because I think just this whole story, this whole concept, all these characters, they would just be so great as a movie. So yeah, overall absolutely love this book. 5 stars, and just had such a great time with this. So I'm gonna end this vlog here. I technically only read 2 books, and at the beginning of this I was planning on reading like 3 or 4, and I feel like I only ended up reading one book that I actually had planned to read. And in the middle there, I did start Twisted Games by Anna Wong, and I did get a bit into that. I think I'm only on like chapter 3 or 4, and while I'm not gonna read it, I'm just not super interested in it at the moment, especially like what I've initially read, and so I definitely want to continue it. It just is not gonna be for this vlog, and I don't know, I'm just gonna put a pause on that for now. But for these two books, the ones that I did read, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, I think I'm gonna give that 4 stars. I really liked it, and I think it was really cute and a really good kind of friends to lovers romance. There was so many great things about it, and I think, especially like I've mentioned throughout the vlog, I did not have high expectations for it because I didn't love Beach Read by the same author, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I think it really exceeded my expectations, and it's a great read, and there's so many great moments. Like the romance was great, the characterization was great, the kind of setting and like plot of the book I really liked. So overall 4 stars, and I did have a really fun time with it. And then the second book, Dial for Aunties, I've talked at length about how much I loved it, and 5 stars for sure. And I'm really glad that I finally read this book because it's been on my TBR for a long time and I just never felt like picking it up. So perfect timing, and absolutely loved it. But overall, I feel like both these books were so great and so fun, and here we are. So thanks guys for watching, and I will see you next time.